A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant escalation of civil unrest, hundreds of Indonesians took to the streets of Jakarta and other cities following the tragic death of a motorcycle ride-sharing driver, Affan Kurniawan, who was struck by a police vehicle during clashes between riot police and protesters. This incident marks the first major challenge for President Prabowo Subianto's administration, which has been in power for nearly a year. The protests began on Thursday when tensions flared near Parliament as demonstrators voiced their frustrations over various issues, including lawmakers' salaries and education funding. The situation quickly deteriorated, leading to violent confrontations between police and protesters, resulting in Kurniawan's untimely death. On Friday, demonstrators gathered in large numbers outside the Parliament and police headquarters in Jakarta, chanting "Killer! Killer!" as they demanded accountability for Kurniawan's death. The protests were not limited to the capital. Motorcycle drivers in cities like Surabaya and Bandung also staged their own demonstrations, expressing solidarity and outrage over the incident. Pindi Nasir, a 43-year-old motorcycle driver, emphasized the need for a transparent investigation into Kurniawan's death, stating, "We don't want our colleagues here to become victims of this riot again." The protests prompted schools to close early and businesses to allow employees to work from home, while the military was deployed in certain areas to maintain order. President Prabowo, addressing the nation, expressed his shock and disappointment at the police's excessive use of force, vowing a thorough investigation into the incident. He stated, "I have ordered a thorough and transparent investigation, and officers involved must be held accountable." Despite the president's calls for calm, the protests intensified, with demonstrators clashing with riot police who responded with tear gas and water cannons. As night fell, some protesters set fire to a 5-story building near the police compound, leading to chaotic scenes in the city. Eyewitness accounts highlighted the desperation of some students who paused their protests to aid in rescuing individuals trapped inside the burning structure. The unrest has raised significant concerns about police conduct in Indonesia, with calls for reform gaining traction among the public. Jakarta Legal Aid has urged the government to release approximately 600 individuals who were arrested during the demonstrations, citing the need for accountability and justice. The National Police have announced that the 7 officers involved in the incident that led to Kurniawan's death would be detained for 20 days for ethical breaches. As the protests continued, Kurniawan's funeral drew hundreds of fellow motorcycle drivers, who escorted his body to its final resting place in a poignant display of solidarity. Ari Patret, a fellow driver, expressed deep disappointment with the authorities, labeling the incident as barbaric. The economic implications of the unrest were also evident, with the Indonesian rupiah closing 0.9% weaker against the US dollar and the stock index experiencing a significant drop. Experts warn that if the government does not address the underlying grievances of the protesters, the situation may escalate further, leading to more widespread unrest. Maid Supriyatma, a visiting fellow at the ICS Yusof Ishak Institute, cautioned, "If Prabowo isn't careful, protests may devolve into chaos." In conclusion, the tragic death of Affan Kurniawan has ignited a firestorm of protests across Indonesia, highlighting the urgent need for police reform and greater accountability within the security forces. As the nation grapples with these issues, the future of President Prabowo's administration hangs in the balance, with citizens demanding justice and change. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.